Well, hi to my YouTube subscribers. Yesterday I posted a video about the app InDriver, which will save you a lot of money if you're staying in Phuket. Today I'm going to tell you about an app called Mobile Passport Control, which will save you a lot of time if you're a U.S. citizen returning to the U.S. from anywhere. I came back to the U.S. from Thailand about a month ago. I took Qatar Airways. It was a very nice flight from Phuket to Doha to Kennedy Airport in New York. It was a very nice experience until I got to Kennedy. At Kennedy, people got off the plane, lined up at immigration. So immigration probably had 30 booths for processing arrivals. And in those booths, there were exactly 2 U.S. customs officials processing about 400 people. I can't imagine what the excuse for this is. I don't think the day I arrived was any special day. I think this is like that every day. I don't know where the customs officials are. I don't know what the explanation is. And I think this is a really shameful failure of U.S. immigration. So all of these people were just standing there. I would say during the first half hour, maybe a handful of people got through. They were giving priority to families, but because they were families, their cases were fairly complex and the process of getting through was very slow. So after about 45 minutes, a customs official came by and made an announcement that located in a few places in the hall was a QR code that people could scan so they could use a mobile app to enter. I did this. The QR code actually didn't work, but you can download the application called Mobile Passport Control, MPC, from your app store. You download this app, you answer some questions, you scan your passport, then you can go on a separate line, scan the QR code that the application gives you, and you're through immediately. There were about 20 people, including myself, who were able to get this app to work. We were able to get in. I left behind hundreds of people who I'm sure were waiting in that line for hours. But if you're heading back to the U.S., I strongly suggest that you download the app Mobile Passport Control. You can actually answer all the questions before you arrive, and then you'll get through very quickly. Now, of course, if you want to get in quickly, there's also the Fast Track program that you have to pay for on an annual basis. Personally, I think the idea of giving special priority to people with money entering the U.S. is a terrible idea. You may have your own opinion on that. But anybody can use the MPC app, and I strongly recommend you do this so you don't have to wait hours online to get back into your own country. This is not just for people traveling from Thailand. If you're a U.S. citizen traveling back to the U.S. from any place in the world, you're going to want to download this app. Now here's the place in the video where I plug my novel, The Vientiane Affair. There's espionage, history, politics, love, sex, violence, and great characters. I think you'll enjoy the story. And if you're an Audible subscriber, why not use a credit to listen to it? This is a way that you can support independent authors like me. Okay, well, we can continue with the video now, but I really communicated already the important point that if you're a U.S. citizen returning to the U.S., really consider downloading the MPC app. It'll save you a lot of time and aggravation when you arrive back in the U.S. And speaking of aggravation, let me just describe the rest of my arrival at JFK. I arrived at the international terminal, and I finally got through customs with the MPC application, and then I found out that the Airlink system was not running, that it was broken. So the airport provided a very slow shuttle from the international terminal to the Federal Circle station of the Airlink, and there they had another shuttle that took me to Jamaica Station. Now, once you reach Jamaica Station, You can take the New York City subway system from Jamaica Station to Grand Central Station in New York. You would take the E train, transfer at Roosevelt Boulevard Station, and take the 7 train to Grand Central. And for anybody who hasn't taken the subway in New York recently, it's an absolute nightmare. On both legs of the trip, I ran into very threatening, crazy people. I think passenger safety on these trains is really a concern. Potential for crime was great. I also saw that there were police in the subway stations, but they were congregated in groups of 5 or 6, socializing by the turnstiles, but not watching at all of the activity that was happening on the trains and on the platforms. I found the trip a bit threatening, and I grew up in New York. Now, when you get to Jamaica Station, an alternative to taking the subway from there is to take the Long Island Railroad to Penn Station. That's probably a nicer alternative, so I would recommend that. If you're arriving at JFK and you want to avoid this, they've discontinued the bus service that goes from JFK to Grand Central. Really, your only alternative is to take a taxi. The taxi has a flat rate of $52. There's a $4.50 surcharge for peak times. And of course, you would have to tip the driver also. So this trip is going to cost you probably $60. Now, we can compare that to your experience in Bangkok, where you land at the airport, you go to the lowest floor, and right there is a train that takes you quickly into downtown Bangkok for a very small amount of money. You can take a taxi, of course, but the airport rail link in Bangkok is so good that there's really no reason to take a taxi. So the contrast is very striking. This isn't the case at all U.S. airports, but for being one of the world's greatest cities, I would say that arriving at JFK Airport is really a disappointment. Okay, well, that's my rant for today, but if you're returning to the U.S., do yourself a favor, download the NPC application. If you found this video useful, please buy a copy of my book. You'll see in the description of this video how to order the book, and have a great day.